Ozarks underwater, some of the worst flooding we've seen in some time, and it's creating a very dangerous situation right now with multiple reports of water rescues and houses and roads flooded. And coverage of Ozarks underwater continues now with KY3's Eric Hilton. Eric, you are at Grant and Commercial. How is the situation looking there?
Paul, I'm just north of the intersection where Grand Street goes under the train tracks, and there are a couple feet of water on the roadway here. There are barricades up to keep cars out, but since we've been here for about an hour now, you might be able to see behind me, cars have been trying to go through, and it is not advised. We've seen about 5 cars get stuck under the bridge here, get into the water, not realizing how deep it is and getting stuck. Thankfully, there are a few people here in a truck at the one of the businesses nearby who are willing to sacrifice their night to help these people get out of the waters.
Too many people keep thinking they can go through, and apparently not everybody knows somebody with a truck. So we sat here and waited for everybody to try to go under the bridge. As soon as they got stuck, we're like, all right, we're going to pull you guys out.
Now, this is the scene in a lot of places in Springfield. Feet of water on the road and roads closed off. That's why the Greene County Emergency Services is telling people to stay off the roads unless you need to get on them, because you can't tell how deep this water is. Sometimes that's what we've heard some of the people who have driven into it say, and it just causes so many problems for you and your car, and dangerous situations for first responders as well. Reporting in Springfield, Eric Hill, KY3 News.
Record rainfall washing out roads, threatening homes, and dozens of water rescues going on. Good Sunday morning. Welcome to Ozarks Today, the weekend edition. I'm Sarah Foreheads. Torrential rainfall has created a very dangerous situation this morning all across the Ozarks. Let's get right to meteorologist Brandon Beck tracking it all in the Storm Team Center. Brandon.
Thanks, Sarah. You know, the rain let up quite a bit overnight here in town. We've only had about a ½ inch compared to the 603 we had yesterday. Still some flooding going on. The heaviest rain now is shifting to the south, and that's going to be in places that did not have the heavy rain yesterday.
I'm standing here on Farm Road 141 in South Greene County. That's Cox Road if you're heading south from Springfield, or it's Nicholas Road if you're heading north from Nixa. And right here at River Cut Golf Course along the James River, the road here behind me has got maybe about a foot or more of water over the top of the bridge here that kind of winds across the river. You can see behind me fire crews are here. They just showed up a few minutes after we did because they're here to check on a car that's stuck in the water there. They're doing a water rescue, possible water rescue.
And emergency workers have answered dozens of calls for water rescues. One going on now in southern Greene County. That's where we find KY3's Drew Douglas. Drew, what can you tell us?
Yes, Sarah, right now, water rescue is just now finishing. You can see a woman right here is being pulled out of the water. She is here on Farm Road 141, just south of Springfield. That'd be Cox Road if you're heading south, or Nicholas Road if you're heading north from Nixa. This woman was trapped in her car here along Farm Road 141 across the James River for a little over an hour, and they've just been able to successfully pull her out of the water. She's obviously very cold and wet. They're going to try to get her to safety. I can imagine kind of what she's been through. It's one example of about 71 calls for water rescue that have happened just in Greene County alone since last night. There have been over 71 calls for water rescues like this. We don't know that that's necessarily 71 people that were rescued, but 71 times that crews had to respond and try to look for people and try to save people. And there have been instances like this all across the Ozarks tonight and this morning. And obviously this is a happy ending here. They were able to get her out safely. But you guys have got to remember the importance of turn around, don't drown. If it looks like this behind you, if you see a road that's got water over it, don't even try it. Just turn around. Don't risk it. You don't want these crews to have to come out here and risk their lives to come pull you out of the water. Sarah?
Drew Douglas there along the James River. Thank you, Drew.
Happening right now, 2 places in Taney County are being evacuated. KY3's Dustin Hodges is live in Bull Creek Village, just north of Branson. Dustin, a scary situation for people there.
Paula, it has been. Now, when we first got here, there was only about 2, maybe 3 inches of water over this road that I'm standing on now. And now you can see I'm standing in about 6 inches of water. If you look over my shoulder here, you'll see a minivan. That water is about a foot up that minivan, almost covering that front wheel of the minivan. Behind the minivan over here, you can see a wheelbarrow that someone had turned upside down. That water is about to cover that wheelbarrow. The only thing sticking out of it is the wheel in the front, and then over here beyond it you can see a child's play set. The water all the way up to the swing set of that child's play set. Now, we're here in Bull Creek Village. This is just northeast of Branson on F Highway. About 150 residents were evacuated by the Taney County Sheriff's Office. They were woken up at 5 o'clock this morning, and by 6, they had started evacuating them to a nearby gas station. Then, as the water continued to rise, they were taken to a nearby church called Christian Life Center. It's just up the hill. About 50 to 60 people sought shelter at that church. Now, the church has taken them in for the night, giving them a place to stay as well as a hot meal, something the Bull Creek residents say they are very grateful for.
We just pretty much grabbed basic necessities, some clothes for right now and a little throw blanket, and went up to the store and sat there, and then the water started receding, so we went and checked to make sure the house and everything was okay, and then all of a sudden seen the water started coming back up, so we got back out and came up here as soon as we noticed.
Bull Creek Village is right next to Bull Creek on Highway F in Taney County, and they're used to this happening. This happens quite frequently there. But it was just a little early in the morning. A lot of people were still in the house in bed, and the sheriff's department evacuated, and they were able to get most of them out. We ended up having to get, with a rescue boat, rescue one family that we had to get out.
Now, the water here in Bull Creek eventually will flow into Lake Taneycomo. Now, I spoke with the Taney County Emergency Management official earlier today. He said Beaver Lake in Arkansas is also experiencing flooding. They're going to have to open the floodgates of the Beaver Dam. That water will flow into Table Rock Lake, and when it starts to flood, they're going to open the floodgates at Table Rock Dam. That water will flow into Lake Taneycomo as well. So all of those residents that live along Lake Taneycomo between Branson and Hollister are being told to be on standby for evacuation. Live in Bull Creek Village, Dustin Hodges, KY3 News.
We continue our team coverage tonight in Pulaski County, where flooding has killed 6 people. KY3's Eric Hilt has more on why that number could rise.
It's already the deadliest flood in Pulaski County history.
I don't think we've ever had this many in the history of this county due to floodwaters.
6 people swept away by floodwaters last night, and officials say that number could rise. The first fatal accident happened on Highway O outside of Dixon.
The car that had driven into some flooded roadway where a small creek was flooding over one of our state highways. We had 2 individuals in that vehicle. The water swept them away, and they both did perish.
The second call came from here, a low water crossing on Highway U just west of Crocker. High waters from this creek swept away a car with 4, maybe 5 people inside.
We have 4 confirmed fatalities out of that. We suspect there might have been a 5th person, but we're trying to locate them right now.
Both calls came within a minute of each other, just after 8 o'clock last night, and the sheriff says both could have been avoided.
Well, the sad thing about it is most of these can be prevented. At times, whenever you do have the flash flooding, it's nighttime. It's dark, it's rainy, and whenever you have these small county roads and state roads that are not lit up, you really need to use caution.
Tragedies like this could very easily be avoided if people would just exercise more caution.
And as the waters continue to rise across the county, officials hope drivers use caution so the death toll doesn't rise with it. In Pulaski County, Eric Hilt, KY3 News.
We begin our storm team coverage tonight with KY3's Ashley Reynolds live from Branson's Table Rock Dam. Ashley?
Well, we continue to hear the same thing over and over today, all throughout the Branson area, that this is worse than 2011. I'm going to take a step aside so you can see this impressive image right behind me. Right now, all 10 gates are open. Water is rushing at 68,000 cubic feet per second. Dozens of water rescues and road closures led people to believe that this is one for the record books. Earlier today, crews closed a section of Branson Landing Boulevard That's the main road in Branson next to Lake Taneycomo. The water covered the south parking lot of the landing. The RV camp next to the landing was evacuated along with several homes. Ducks swim above roads. Our cameras captured several people moving to higher ground. It's a race against the rising water.
It's a blessing. Yeah, we ain't lost a thing, not a problem. It's a blessing. As long as somebody gets hurt, we're good. We can always get another house.
The agencies, law enforcement agencies are doing their best to get all the information out, but everybody is really overwhelmed right now.
Some important information to pass along to you. The Red Cross has opened up a shelter. It's at the Life Christian Church that's on Highway F. Also, the city of Branson has an emergency shelter set up at the Salvation Army. That's on Stanley Avenue. Again, we're live here at Table Rock Dam. Ashley Reynolds, KY3 News.
Our late December flooding has wreaked havoc on people across the Ozarks, both business owners and homeowners bailing water or just trying to stay dry, even here at KY3. So continuing our team coverage, John Chake is in our basement where we had ankle-deep water for the last couple of days. John?
Lisa, this record rainfall has really taken a toll on most of us. We're here in the KY3 basement, a part of KY3 some of you may have never seen before. As you can see, the water is barely to my feet there, but earlier it was all the way to my ankles, and the storm drain here just collecting that water. Now, companies like DeLong Plumbing and Bixler have been getting calls non-stop for issues like we're having here at KY3. Water just covering the ground. Our gym equipment, weights, everything in water about 4 inches from the ground. DeLong Plumbing was here trying to fix that problem. Over in Willard, Bixler has been doing the same at a shopping center on East Jackson. There are 6 storefronts that flooded this morning. When we got there, crews were vacuuming up the carpet and putting furniture up on styrofoam blocks so it did not get more wet. Now, fans and dehumidifiers were set up on some carpeted areas. We talked with the owner of Kindred Spirits, a consignment store. She says, thankfully, nothing was ruined, just wet floors. The folks at Bixler say the best thing to do if your home or business is flooded is to hang tight.
As long as the rain's still coming down, the water's going to continue to come in. We've experienced some situations with people where we've extracted water in basements and that type of thing that as soon as we got done, the water just comes back in. So realistically, the best thing to do is just wait for the rains to stop. Call a restoration company, get yourself on lists, several lists, and we'll get to you as soon as we can.
And a lot of those restoration companies do have waiting lists. Now, experts say it's a good idea to pick up all your furniture off the ground so it does not get more wet, and to turn your temperature cooler so it doesn't create mold. Just a soggy situation, really, that most of us are in tonight. Steve, Lisa?
How about a bird's eye view? Finley River rushing beneath the bridge alongside the Finley River Park there in Ozark. And that's something. To the north, you can check out the flooding along the James River at highways 160 and AA.
And this is to the south, the lots around the Branson Landing, along Taneycomo underwater as well. And check out as much of this incredible footage as you want to see at KY3.com.
The death toll now stands at 10 from devastating storms in the Ozarks, and crews continue to look for people who may have been swept away by the raging water as well. KY3's Paula Morehouse live along South Scenic. Paula, most of these deadly problems involved flooded roads.
Yeah, they sure do. And in the Springfield-Greene County area alone, there were 119 water rescues from Saturday until this afternoon. So that number does not count this evening, including one rescue on Highway 123 and Farm Road 81. That driver pulled right around the barricade and got stuck. Luckily, he was rescued and a tow truck came and pulled his vehicle out. Now, the city reports at least 34 vehicles involved in water rescues were cars that tried to go through closed streets. Now, the governor is urging people to heed the barricades on and closed roads. And then a tow truck driver we spoke with this evening, he knew the tow truck driver who was electrocuted this weekend. He went to help a driver not knowing there had been a previous crash into a pole exposing a live wire.
It is absolutely pitch dark. You can't see your hand in front of you without lights on. And just like with him, I'm sure he didn't realize there was an accident with the pole down.
and we try to be as careful as we can. That's why the trucks has got all the lights on them, but you never know.
The vast majority of folks that lost their life here drove in the water, and so the people that are out there right now, this is not over by any stretch of the imagination as the water continues to rise in the eastern side of the state and will for the better part of the next 2 to 3 days.
And the Springfield-Greene County Emergency Management Office will have its call center open again tomorrow. People can call there from 8 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon to report flood damage to their home, property, or businesses. And that number is 417-829-6200. We also have that number at ky3.com. Reporting live in Springfield, Paula Morehouse, KY3 News.
Interstate 44 is flooded out just west of Rolla, causing major delays and headaches for lots of drivers. And KY3's Jahan Sheikh is in Jerome.
There are a lot of frustrated drivers that all lanes of I-44 from Jerome to Rolla are shut down. But what drivers can't see is this part of I-44 completely covered in water. The Little Piney River now washing over the interstate. Mile marker 172 to 176 underwater, and it's created a problem and headache for some drivers forced to take a different route.
Probably added at least an hour, 2 hours to our trip.
Road crews put up these signs to mark the detours, letting drivers know both the east and westbound lanes of I-44 just west of Rolla are closed because the road looks like this.
It was pretty chaotic, and even, of course, hearing the radio, it said it might be more flooding because of all the temps coming downstream. So trying desperately to get back out of here.
If you're coming from Springfield, go east on Highway 60 to Kabul, then head up Highway 63 from Kabul to Rolla. Drivers like Kevin just want to make up for lost time.
Hopefully that'll be the worst we have to suffer, and we'll keep going.
While Highway Patrol directs traffic, road crews are working around the clock to make sure drivers follow the signs and don't ignore the barriers. Though it might be an inconvenience for drivers, the detours are necessary to keep everyone safe and dry until the Little Piney River goes back to being little again. The water is beginning to recede, but as long as the road looks like this, it will continue to be closed. Reporting in Phelps County, Jahan Sheikh, KY3 News.
Traffic being detoured on I-44 2 hours away in Phelps County is hitting another roadblock on Highway 60 coming off of 63 and heading east to Springfield, where there are more lanes of traffic still underwater. That's causing some real big backups. KY3's Eric Hilt is live there tonight with the latest on tie-ups as evening rush hour progresses. Eric?
Steve, it is gridlock here on Highway 60. It's bumper to bumper for miles. I'll step out and give you a look at what drivers are dealing with right now. Part of this problem is because of the traffic being diverted off of Interstate 44 and here onto Highway 60, but the gridlock gets especially bad here around Farm Road 219. This is where Highway 60 goes to one lane, both directions, because of water covering the westbound lanes here on 60. We caught up with some drivers who are obviously very frustrated by all of this traffic. They said that it's taken them more than a half hour just to go a couple miles here on Highway 60, and they're afraid it's just going to get worse as more drivers hit the road during rush hour. Reporting live in Greene County, Eric Hilt, KY3 News.
As floodwater recedes in some areas of the Ozarks, the search for a missing halfway man continued in Polk County today. Good evening, I'm Ethan Forhead.
I'm Lisa Rose. As KY3's Dustin Hodges shows us, rough terrain is making that search very difficult.
The Highway Patrol continued its search for a missing halfway man who slid off the road off of Highway H just north of Pleasant Hope just a few days ago. The man was driving northbound on H Highway when floodwaters washed him down the Pomme de Terre River. Search crews continued to search the area along the river, but thick mud and debris piles 10 feet high have made the search difficult. The Highway Patrol had boats and ATVs out Wednesday, but as waters recede, boats may no longer be an option on much of the river. Sergeant Clay Meyer with the Missouri Highway Patrol says a semi-truck driver also got trapped by the floodwaters, but the Highway Patrol was able to rescue him by boat.
They tied onto trees and was able to release back down to the semi, and a 72-year-old individual, they were able to get out. The water was up to the windshield. It was in the cab. The individual was sitting on a cooler and on his seat trying to stay out of the water, and that's how deep the water was.
Sergeant Meyer says the Highway Patrol has used a helicopter and cadaver dogs to try and locate the missing man, and they will continue to search until he is found. In Polk County, Dustin Hodges, KY3 News.
Flooding in Republic, meanwhile, swamped dozens of cars at Republic, Ford, and Lincoln Saturday night as workers scrambled to move them away from the rising waters. KY3's Eric Hilt is live at the car dealership with just how much damage was done. Eric?
Lisa, managers say it was a hectic scene here on Saturday night as workers, police officers, firefighters, and even just people off the street stopped in to try and save as many of these cars as they could as the water rose here on the sales lot. Now, here's a look at what it looked like Saturday night here at Republic, Ford, and Lincoln. Managers say they were able to save about 3/4 of the cars, but the floodwater totaled about 135 cars. 115 of those were brand new. Managers say the floodwater did about $4 million worth of damage. Now, the insurance company has been out here and looking at those cars, but you will not get a chance to see those cars out on the sales floor because they aren't for sale.
All the damaged vehicles have been pulled off the lot, and the insurance company has taken possession of those vehicles, and everything we have on the lot is been given a clean bill of health and is ready for sale.
Deal says the insurance company will most likely take those flooded cars and bring them to somewhere where they can be scrapped. Meanwhile, they want to thank everyone who helped move these cars out while the water was rising, and they say that they expect to have a full lot very soon. Reporting in Republic, Eric Hilt, KY3 News.
Several busy stretches of Greene County roads are back open tonight after record-breaking rainfall added up to more than 10 inches in 2 days. Take a look at this stretch of Cox Road and James River, back open by midday today after some extensive damage you see there. The volume of water and sheer speed of the current picked up chunks of asphalt and sending them floating away as the heavy rain damaged roads all around the county. County workers say there could be more trouble spots over the next few days as the water continues to go down. So if you see a road sign saying a road is closed, obey it. Turn around.
Some local farmers lost income from flooding. KY3's Drew Douglas shows us the financial impact to one family farm in Polk County.
Today, the Little Sauk River is back within its banks, but on Saturday night, it rose very quickly, and it swept about 20 head of cattle downstream. Cody Crane says he's never seen the Little Sauk River rise so high or so fast. His cattle took high ground, but about 20 of his brother's cows were swept away, as far as 2 miles downstream. Fortunately, most have been recovered on neighbors' property, but 2 have been found dead and 5 are still missing. But his brother's not the only farmer to lose livestock in the floods. This picture taken in Webster County shows a bull floating in floodwater before it was able to swim to shore. Cody says often cows graze on areas that turn into islands and don't realize they need to swim to high ground until it's too late.
And where the cattle get trapped are, where that water comes up through there, and then when the cattle are on the other side and it rises so quick that they get trapped on that like an island, and then the water keeps rising and then just takes them down.
While Cody says the financial loss could have been a lot worse for his brother, Cody himself still faces about a month of cleanup just repairing the fences and other things on his property. Near Morrisville, Missouri, Drew Douglas, KY3 News.